I'm delighted to be here in Cape Town. The idea of a United Nations resolution on diabetes arose 3 years ago when a young lady named Claire Rosenfeld, came up to me at the IDF 2003 World Congress in Paris, and she asked, why shouldn't there be a United Nations resolution on diabetes? And it's taken 3 years. In addition to the G77 group of nations, other countries are also supporting the UN resolution for diabetes. These countries include Portugal, Slovenia, the Russian Federation, Germany, Australia, and the United States. The resolution has now been tabled at the General Assembly of the United Nations, and it will be formally voted on in the next few days. The expectation is that it will be passed by consensus and that we will have a United Nations resolution on diabetes before the end of the year. This resolution is of immense significance because for the first time governments in the world have recognized the enormity of the diabetes epidemic, an epidemic which now affects 246 million adults in the world, representing 6% of adults in the world. This epidemic is rising at the rate of 7 million per year. It is the largest epidemic in the history of man. Governments, through their support of the United Nations resolution on diabetes, have now accepted the enormity of this epidemic. And through the United Nations resolution, this will help to unite the diabetes world together, to work with governments, to work with society, to work together to defeat this epidemic. The importance of the UN resolution on diabetes will be that it will draw the world's attention to the enormity of the epidemic. The resolution asks for November the 14th to be recognized as a UN-observed World Diabetes Day. And it also asks for all member states, in other words, all countries, to establish national policies on the treatment, care and prevention of diabetes according to their sustainable development of their healthcare systems. For the first time, a non-communicable disease will be recognized by governments around the world. Up till now, it has been the communicable diseases that have captured the major attention of the world governments. However, the non-communicable diseases now account for over 60% of mortality and morbidity in the world. The United Nations Resolution on Diabetes campaign has two main issues to address. The first is to improve the care of the 246 million people with diabetes, to make sure that they don't develop the distressing and devastating complications of diabetes. These complications include blindness, kidney failure, limb amputations. And medicine now knows enough to be able to largely prevent the majority of these complications. So a key element of the campaign is to raise awareness of diabetes and to raise awareness that there are simple, cost-effective treatments to improve the health of people with diabetes. The second issue is to prevent diabetes from happening in the first case. Diabetes is increasing at the rate of 7 million per year. And again, we now know that it is possible to prevent diabetes. One of the key elements is to raise awareness of diabetes, to increase people's education about diabetes. And to do this, we must introduce new methods, new communication tools, using electronic means, using different kind of means to join people together. The idea of a United Nations resolution on diabetes came from youth. And indeed, it is the new generation that will bear the brunt of this epidemic. And the idea of this United Nations resolution will join the youth of the world together so that their enthusiasm, their commitment and their leadership will inspire society, governments, as well as diabetes associations and indeed all of the professional associations working together in this campaign to unite so that we can prevent this epidemic and prevent the devastating complications of diabetes in those who have diabetes.